At a Walmart in Florida, a 72-year-old woman walks out the front door with a flat-screen TV balanced on her mobility scooter in full view of 3 security cameras and a greeter who is also her neighbor. She did not even remove the anti-theft tag. The thing about senior criminals is not that they try. It is that they try with the confidence of someone who has never once been questioned. How do you get caught when you have had 7 decades to learn how the world works? These are 101 grandpas and grandmas who answered that question in the most spectacular way possible, and it only gets worse. 1. Inside a credit union lobby. A retired postal worker hands the teller a hold-up note written on the back of his own deposit slip, the one pre-printed with his name, address, and account number. The teller reads both sides, looks up, and quietly presses the silent alarm. Officers arrive before he reaches the parking lot. His getaway vehicle is a beige sedan parked in the handicap spot with his veteran plates visible from the road. 2. Every Thanksgiving, a 68-year-old grandmother in Ohio runs her annual coupon fraud ring from the dining room table, printing counterfeits on the family inkjet while the turkey rests. She gets caught when her granddaughter posts a TikTok of the craft project in the background. The video hits 40,000 views. The coupons are worth $11 total. 3. The plan is simple: steal copper wire from a construction site at night. The problem is the 70-year-old doing it drives a truck with a personalized license plate that reads Prior 1. Police do not even need to run the tag. They just read the confession bolted to the bumper. 4. At a Costco in Arizona, a retired couple fills their cart with electronics, covers everything with a blanket, and walks toward the exit with the receipt from a previous visit held high. The receipt is from 7 months ago. The greeter does not even need to check dates. The model of TV listed was discontinued in March. 5. Because she is convinced the pharmacy overcharged her. A 75-year-old returns with a pellet gun tucked into her quilted handbag and demands a $12 refund. The pharmacist recognizes her immediately. She has been a customer for 19 years. Her name is on the loyalty card she used that morning. 6. In a suburb outside Dallas, a grandfather starts selling homemade moonshine from his garage. He lasts 3 months before the operation collapses. The mistake: he listed the product on Nextdoor with a 5-star self-review under his real name. A neighbor screenshots the listing and sends it to the county sheriff, who lives 2 streets over. 7. 3 retired teachers form a shoplifting crew targeting craft stores. Their system is coordinated. One distracts the clerk. One loads a tote bag, one watches the door. They are caught because the lookout falls asleep in a rocking chair display near the entrance. Store security finds her snoring next to a bag of stolen yarn. 8. During a small-town bank holdup, a 69-year-old hands over the note and waits. And waits. The teller is new and freezes, completely unsure whether it is real. The man gets impatient, takes the note back, and says he will come back when someone more experienced is working. He returns the next day. Same branch, same teller. She is ready this time. 9. At a flea market in rural Georgia, a 71-year-old sells stolen power tools every Saturday for a year. He is caught not by the police, but by one of his own customers, who recognizes a circular saw with his own initials carved into the handle. The confrontation happens in front of 20 witnesses and a funnel cake vendor. 10. The getaway car stalls at the bank's drive-through exit lane because the driver, 73, forgot to put it in drive. He sits there in park for nearly 2 minutes, revving the engine and swearing, while the die pack in the cash bag detonates across the passenger seat. The car is still running when officers arrive. 11. Inside a senior living community in Tucson, a retired accountant runs an identity theft ring using personal information from fellow residents. She collects Social Security numbers during bingo night by offering to help fill out Medicare forms. The scheme ends when one victim notices a $5,000 charge for a jet ski, a purchase style somewhat inconsistent with a 91-year-old who uses a walker, essays. 12. Every Sunday, a 67-year-old grandmother swaps price tags at a home goods store, putting clearance stickers on full-price items. She is caught when she accidentally puts a $4 sticker on a lamp that costs $3. The cashier notices she is paying more, not less, and the manager pulls the security footage out of sheer curiosity. 13. Outside a gas station in Kentucky, a grandfather siphons fuel from parked cars using a garden hose. He is good at it, quiet, efficient, patient. What he is not good at is noticing that the gas station has exterior cameras pointed directly at the pumps. He returns 8 times before someone reviews the footage. Same outfit every time, same hat. 14. Because they believe their age makes them invisible. A retired couple walks into a jewelry store, asks to see a tray of rings, and pockets 3 while the clerk turns around. The clerk does turn around. The clerk also turns back. The couple is still standing there smiling, asking about a necklace, with 3 rings visibly bulging through a cardigan pocket. 15. In a scene straight from a comic strip, an elderly couple breaks into a closed pawn shop through a ceiling vent, drops down next to the safe, and immediately triggers a net trap the owner installed after a previous break-in. When police arrive, the two are tangled together on a pile of cash and costume jewelry, still arguing about whose idea it was to go through the roof. The security camera footage becomes the most watched clip on the local news that month. 16. Despite having no internet experience, a 74-year-old launches a phone scam from his landline, calling strangers and pretending to be the IRS. He is caught because he uses his real phone number, which shows up on every victim's caller ID. When confronted, he insists caller ID is not a real thing and that the government made it up. 17. At a Walgreens in Michigan, a grandmother tucks bottles of arthritis cream into her coat and walks out. She is stopped not by security, but by the automatic doors, which will not open because she also accidentally grabbed a shopping basket with a wheel lock. She stands there immobilized for 4 minutes. 18. 2 retired brothers in their 70s run a stolen car parts ring out of a barn. The operation is invisible to everyone until one of them files an insurance claim on a vehicle that was supposedly stolen but is currently sitting in his own barn, partially disassembled, visible on Google Earth. The adjuster finds it from a desk chair. 19. In a courthouse lobby, a 68-year-old woman attempts to smuggle a small knife past the metal detector inside a hollowed-out Bible. The detector goes off. Security finds the knife. She tells the officer she forgot it was there. The officer points out that the Bible has been gutted with surgical precision and lined with felt. That was already like that when I bought it, she says. 20. The scam is elegant. A retired art teacher sells forged paintings at local galleries, copying minor impressionist works. She is caught when a buyer takes one to an appraiser who notices the signature is misspelled. Not slightly completely, she signed Monet instead of Monet. The painting is otherwise excellent. 21. Every month, a 70-year-old collects disability checks while also competing in regional bowling tournaments. He does not get caught by an investigator. He gets caught by himself after winning a tournament and being photographed mid-celebration for the local newspaper's sports section. The headline runs next to his own disability attorney's ad. 22. At a self-checkout in suburban New Jersey, a grandmother scans every item as bananas. Steaks, wine, batteries, all bananas. She does this weekly for 5 months. She is caught when the system flags a single transaction. $47 worth of bananas weighing less than 2 pounds. The loss prevention officer has been watching her for 3 weeks by that point. 23. Because he is convinced nobody monitors storage units, a 69-year-old uses one to stockpile stolen lawn equipment. He pays the monthly fee with a check. The check has his home address printed on it. The storage company sends a courtesy renewal letter to the same address the police already have from 3 theft reports. 24. In a quiet cul-de-sac, a retired electrician runs an unlicensed cannabis grow operation in his basement. He hides everything well except the electric bill, which triples overnight. The power company flags the spike. An inspector arrives. The grandfather answers the door in a Hawaiian shirt and offers the inspector lemonade before realizing why he is there. 25. A 76-year-old woman writes bad checks at 12 different grocery stores across 2 counties. She is careful with timing, rotation, and aliases. She is not careful with penmanship. Every alias is written in the same distinctive cursive, looping elegant and unmistakably hers. A bank teller who took calligraphy classes recognizes the handwriting across 4 separate accounts. That was the warm-up. Everything past this point involves people. who should have known better and still somehow did not. 26. Outside a pharmacy in Indiana, a grandfather waits in the car while his wife goes inside to pass a forged prescription. She is in there for 45 minutes. He gets impatient and goes in to check on her. He walks directly into the middle of her arrest, asks what is happening, and then tries to use the same fake prescription at the counter next to her. Same pharmacist, same pharmacy. 27. In a retirement village in Florida, a 73-year-old woman runs a Ponzi scheme disguised as a prayer investment circle. She promises 10% monthly returns blessed by the Lord. The scheme collapses when a retired forensic accountant joins the circle and immediately recognizes the math. She confronts the organizer during potluck. The confrontation is captured on a Ring doorbell camera. 28. At a highway rest stop, a grandfather transporting stolen electronics tries to outrun a state trooper in a motorhome. The chase tops out at 38 miles per hour. The trooper does not even use lights for the first 2 miles, assuming it is just a slow driver. The motorhome has a bumper sticker that says, "Not all who wander are lost." The trooper quotes it in the report. 29. Because she thinks her hearing aid picks up police scanners, a 68-year-old plans her shoplifting runs based on what she hears. The device picks up nothing of the sort. It is a hearing aid, but her confidence is absolute. She is caught mid-grab at a department store. When asked why she thought it was safe, she says the scanner was quiet. 30. 3 grandmothers in their 70s organize a counterfeit coupon ring from a church basement, using the photocopier after Wednesday night services. The pastor finds out not from the police, but from the Xerox repairman, who asks why the machine is printing 1,200 identical Tide coupons a week. 31. The bank robber is 70 polite and unhurried. He slides the note, waits patiently, thanks the teller, and walks out. He is caught 40 minutes later at a diner 2 blocks away eating soup. When officers approach, he asks if he can finish. His spoon is still in the bowl when they read him his rights. 32. At a Goodwill donation center, a retired couple donates bags of clothing every Saturday and takes home better items from the sorting area while staff is distracted. They operate undetected for months. The end comes when the husband accidentally donates a jacket with his wallet still inside. Staff opens it, finds his ID, and reviews the footage. 33. In a mobile home park outside Reno, a 71-year-old sells fake gold jewelry to tourists near a casino. His pitches are convincing. His product is not one buyer notices the bracelet turning green before she reaches the parking garage. She finds the seller still at the same corner. Same folding table, same folding chair 20 minutes later. 34. Despite being banned from a tribal casino, a 69-year-old returns in disguise. A wig, sunglasses, and a Hawaiian shirt. Facial recognition software identifies him in under 3 seconds. The wig does not even cover his ears, which are the feature the system primarily uses. 35. At a post office, a grandmother mails a package of stolen merchandise back to herself at her own address using the store's original shipping label, which is still attached. The postal worker notices the return address and the destination are the same person. She asks about it politely. The grandmother panics and leaves without the package. 36. 2 retired fishermen in Louisiana start poaching oysters from a protected reef at night. Their boat is unmarked, their schedule is irregular, and their operation is nearly invisible. Except they post photos of their haul on Facebook every single time. Fish and wildlife officers follow the account for 3 weeks before making the arrest. The profile is public. 37. Because the ATM camera is small, a 70-year-old assumes it is decorative. He uses a stolen card at the same ATM 14 times across 2 weeks, looking directly into the lens each time. The footage is so clear that a local detective uses a single still frame to identify him at a church picnic 3 days later. 38. In a retirement community card room, a 75-year-old runs an illegal sports betting operation on a laminated menu, odds on one side, sandwich specials on the other. He is caught when a resident with dementia hands the menu to a visiting daughter, who immediately recognizes it is not a lunch menu. The line on the Cowboys game is minus 3.5. 39. A grandmother in her late 60s breaks into a neighbor's house to steal a garden gnome she believes was originally hers. She brings it home and puts it on her front porch. The neighbor sees it the next morning. He walks over. She denies everything. The gnome has his address painted on the bottom. He flips it over in front of her. 40. At a car dealership, a 72-year-old test drives a truck and never comes back. He is caught 3 days later because the truck still has the dealer plates, the window sticker, and a GPS tracker the dealership installs on every vehicle. He is pulled over while going through a drive-thru. The fries are still in the bag. 41. Inside a VA hospital, a retired veteran scams the gift shop by returning items he never purchased, using old receipts he finds in the waiting room trash. He does this 11 times. The 12th time, he returns a stuffed bear with a tag that says donated by the Ladies Auxiliary, not for resale. The cashier calls security, who has his photo taped behind the register. 42. Every holiday season, a 68-year-old couple runs a fake charity collection outside a grocery store, wearing matching Santa hats and ringing a bell. They are exposed when a real Salvation Army volunteer sets up 15 feet away and asks to see their permit. They do not have one. They also do not have a real organization name. The bucket says, "Help the Kids Foundation" in marker. 43. Because he assumes the statute of limitations has passed. A 73-year-old brags about a decades-old robbery at a bar. It has not passed. A retired detective sitting 2 stools down hears the whole story, goes home, and makes a phone call. The case reopens the following Monday. 44. At a community garden, a grandmother steals tomatoes from every plot except her own, then enters the stolen tomatoes in the county fair under her name. She wins a ribbon. The ribbon is photographed for the fair's newsletter. 3 gardeners recognize their heirloom varieties by sight. The confrontation happens at the awards table. 45. In a suburban garage, a retired mechanic chops stolen motorcycles and sells the parts online. He lasts 2 years. The downfall. He films a video tour of his garage for a real estate listing when he decides to move. The listing agent uploads the video. A detective spots a VIN plate on a frame in the background that matches a stolen bike from a case file. Son, it's he first worded in it. 46. A 70-year-old grandmother opens 6 credit cards using her cat's name. The applications list the cat's breed as occupation and indoor as employment status. 2 of the cards are approved. She maxes them both out at pet supply stores. The fraud department flags the accounts when Whiskers M. Henderson fails to respond to a verification call. And 47. Outside a liquor store in Tennessee, a grandfather uses his grandson's ID to buy alcohol for minors at a high school party. The ID clearly belongs to a 19-year-old. The grandfather is 74. The clerk stares at the photo, stares at the man, and silently picks up the phone. The grandfather is still holding the ID when police arrive. I'm saying, and reminding the Sabu son. 48. Because she believes security cameras do not record on Sundays. A 67-year-old shoplifts exclusively on the Sabbath. She does this for an entire year. When confronted with 12 months of Sunday footage, she insists the recordings must have been faked. Cameras rest on Sundays, she tells the officer. He writes the quote in his report. 49. In a beach town in South Carolina, a retired couple steals patio furniture from vacation rentals between guest stays. Their timing is impeccable always during the cleaning window. Their vehicle is not. It is a bright yellow pickup truck. Every property manager on the island has a description of it within a week. They are caught loading a wicker love seat in broad daylight. They're voren ferdamemus. 50. And you at a county fair. A 76-year-old pickpocket works the crowd with 40 years of experience and hands that still move fast. He is caught by a 12-year-old with a GoPro strapped to his chest. The kid is filming a day at the fair vlog. The footage is shaky, but the hand entering the fanny pack is unmistakable. The video gets 200,000 views before the court date. You have now watched a retired pickpocket get caught by a child's chest camera. A grandmother scans steaks as bananas for 5 months, and a man tried to outrun a trooper in a motorhome at 38 miles per hour. That was the first half. The second half is where the planning gets more ambitious and the failures get more spectacular. So far, the pattern is charming incompetence. From here, the pattern gets structural, the confidence grows. The schemes widen and the mistakes get even harder to believe. 51. Inside a quiet savings bank, A 70-year-old walks in with a hold-up note and a surgical mask worn upside down. With the metal nose strip under his chin, the teller asks him to adjust it. He does, pulling it down, entirely exposing his full face to 4 cameras. He thanks her for the reminder. She does not tell him about the cameras. 52. In a rural county, a retired mail carrier intercepts Social Security checks from mailboxes along her old route. She knows every box, every schedule, every dog. She is caught because she deposits the checks at her own bank, using her own account with her own endorsement. The teller who processes the deposits went to high school with her. 53. At a casino buffet, a 74-year-old hides crab legs shrimp and prime rib inside Tupperware containers lining a custom vest. He has done this for years. The vest works perfectly until the day he leans over the dessert station and a container of cocktail sauce pops open inside his jacket. A red stain spreads across his white shirt while a pit boss watches. 54. Because the neighbor's Wi-Fi is unlocked. A 68-year-old uses it to run an online scam selling fake concert tickets. He believes the open network makes him untraceable. It does not. The IP address leads to the neighbor's house. The neighbor immediately identifies the only person on the block who still uses a computer that big. The desktop is beige. 55. 2 grandmothers in their mid-70s rob a bingo hall cash box after the Tuesday night game. Their faces are covered. Their orthopedic shoes are not. A detective matches the shoe prints, custom-molded SAS Walker size 7, narrow width, to a purchase record at a local medical supply shop. Both women are customers. 56. At a flea market, a retired school teacher sells counterfeit designer handbags from a folding table. Her pitch is perfect. The labels are not. Half of them say Louis Vuitton. One says Gucci. A buyer takes photos and posts them to a fashion forum. The post goes viral. Local police find the table still open the following weekend. Yasan 57. In a suburban neighborhood, a grandfather steals delivered Amazon packages from porches every afternoon during his daily walk. His routine is clockwork, always between 2 and 3, always the same route. A doorbell camera captures him 17 times. In every clip, he is wearing the same fishing vest and walking the same schnauzer. The dog is also identified. 58. Lucy, because she has watched every episode of a true crime show. A 71-year-old believes she knows how to avoid forensic detection. She wears gloves during a jewelry store theft. She does not, however, remove the store's loyalty sticker from the back of her phone. The clerk finds it on the counter after she leaves. Her phone number is on file. 59. At a church rummage sale, a 69-year-old pockets donations from the cash box while volunteering at the register. She is caught when the pastor reviews the register tape and finds that 43 transactions totaling over $600 are missing. The volunteer log shows only one person worked that shift. She signed in with her full legal name and the time she arrived. 60. In a parking garage, a retired contractor strips catalytic converters off cars using a battery-powered saw. His technique is fast and quiet. His hearing is not he does not notice the parking attendant standing 6 feet behind him for nearly a full minute. The attendant clears his throat. The contractor jumps so hard he drops the saw on his own foot. 61. Every Friday morning, a 73-year-old drives to a different bank and cashes forged checks. She rotates branches. She rotates outfits. She does not rotate cars. Every teller description mentions the same thing. Elderly woman in a red Buick with a dream catcher on the rearview mirror. The Buick is parked at her home when officers arrive. 62. At a thrift store, a grandfather switches tags on vintage vinyl records, paying 99 cents for albums worth hundreds. He resells them online. His store name on eBay is his real name followed by Vinyl King 1952, his birth year. Investigators match the username to his ID in under 4 minutes. 63. In a senior center's computer lab, a 67-year-old launches a phishing email scheme targeting local businesses. She copies a template from a YouTube tutorial and forgets to change the placeholder text. Every phishing email reads, "Insert company name here, needs your password." 3 recipients report it. One of them is her own nephew. 64. Because the pharmacy drive-thru has no camera, he assumes a 72-year-old passes forged prescriptions from his car. There is a camera. It captures his plate, his face, and the bumper sticker that reads "World's Best Grandpa." He is identified within the hour. 65. Two retired plumbers steal copper pipe from abandoned houses and sell it to a scrapyard. They are methodical. They are also loyal customers. They have been selling to the same yard for 6 years. When the yard is audited, every transaction is logged. Both names, both IDs, both thumbprints. The scrap dealer kept records because he thought they were legitimate contractors. 66. At a farmer's market. A grandmother sells homemade jams that are store-bought relabeled and marked up 400%. She is exposed when a customer flips a jar over and finds the original Smucker's UPC code still under the handwritten label. The confrontation draws a crowd. She packs up the table in silence. 67. Inside a laundromat, a 70-year-old breaks into the coin machines every Thursday night. He knows the lock model. He brings the right tools. He always works alone. He is caught because the laundromat has a regular customer, an insomniac, who sees him every week and finally mentions it to the owner. The old guy with the toolbox comes every Thursday. 68. A retired nurse in her late 60s steals medications from a home health patient supply. She is careful with dosages and timing. She is not careful with her nursing log, which she fills out diligently, documenting every visit, including the ones where she takes the pills. The log is submitted to the agency. The agency reads it. 69. In a gated community, a 74-year-old hacks the HOA's email system to send fake dues notices to residents, directing payments to his personal account. He collects nearly $8,000 before the real treasurer notices a drop in revenue. The fake email address is one letter off from the official one, and the from name is his own first name. 70. At a craft fair in Vermont, a grandmother sells quilts she claims are handmade. They are machine-manufactured imports from overseas. A rival quilter notices that all 30 quilts have identical stitching, something no human hand could replicate. She confronts the seller. The seller claims she just has very steady hands. The quilts are confiscated by the fair committee. The grandparent confidence that powered the first half. It is now fully operational. The plans get bigger. The blind spots stay exactly the same size. 71. In a small town DMV, a retired clerk sells fraudulent driver's licenses to underage buyers for $50 each. She is caught when one of the fake IDs is used to buy beer at a gas station, and the gas station owner recognizes the photo. It is his own daughter. He calls the DMV. 72. At a family reunion, a 70-year-old uncle runs a 3-card Monte game on a folding table, taking money from relatives half his age. He is not caught by the law. He is caught by his own sister, who flips the table and announces to 40 family members that he did this at Thanksgiving in 1997 too. 73. Because she assumes courtrooms have no cameras, a 68-year-old lies under oath about a fender bender she caused. The judge pulls up a traffic camera feed from the intersection in question. The footage shows her running the red light, looking directly at the camera and mouthing something unprintable. The courtroom laughs. The judge does not. 74. Every December, a grandfather runs a fake toy drive, collecting donations from neighborhoods and reselling the toys at a flea market in the next county. He is caught when a mother buys a toy for her daughter and recognizes the wrapping paper. It is the same paper she donated the toy in. She still has the receipt. 75. In a rural post office, a 73-year-old mails threatening letters to a local politician. He wears gloves. He uses no return address. He does, however, lick the stamps. DNA from the adhesive matches a sample on file from a minor offense in 1988. The stamps are 37-cent Liberty Bells discontinued years ago. The schemes are no longer small. The confidence is no longer charming. And the technology catching them has never been more patient. 76. Inside a storage auction. A retired auctioneer rigs the bidding by planting a friend in the crowd. The scam works until a bidder records the entire session on his phone and posts it to a storage auction forum. The planted friend is identified by multiple users. His Yelp profile lists his occupation as freelance auction consultant. 77. At a Social Security office, a 71-year-old tries to collect benefits for a deceased spouse by pretending the spouse is still alive. She brings a signed letter as proof. The signature does not match any sample on file. It matches her own handwriting because it is hers. The clerk pulls both files and lays them side by side. 78. In a strip mall parking lot, a grandfather runs a fake parking ticket scam, placing handwritten citations on windshields with a QR code linking to his personal Venmo. He collects $200 in a week. He is caught because the QR code resolves to a Venmo account under his real name, with a profile photo of him holding a fishing rod. 79. Because she thinks gift cards are untraceable. A 69-year-old embezzles from her church's benevolence fund by converting cash donations into gift cards and keeping them. She is caught when the church treasurer finds 47 unused gift card receipts in the collection room wastebasket, each purchased on the same day, at the same store, on the same rewards account. The rewards account is hers. 80. At a community pool, a 72-year-old charges neighborhood kids $1 each to swim, pocketing the money instead of depositing it in the pool fund. He keeps a handwritten ledger. The ledger is meticulous. It documents every dollar taken over 9 months. His wife finds it while cleaning his desk and turns it in to the homeowners association, thinking it is the official log. 81. 2 retired sisters run a fake psychic hotline from a landline in their kitchen. They charge callers $5 a minute. The operation runs smoothly until one of them accidentally calls a regular customer back from their own home number. The customer reverse searches it and finds the address. She drives over. Both sisters are eating lunch. 82. In a hospital waiting room, a 68-year-old steals wallets from purses left on chairs. She is discreet and fast. She is caught because she uses one of the stolen credit cards at the hospital gift shop on the same floor, 20 minutes later, to buy a stuffed elephant for her grandchild. The transaction pings the victim's phone alert while the victim is still in the building. Stupidest. 83. At a highway way station, a grandfather hauling a trailer full of stolen lumber is waved through by an officer and then waves back. The friendly wave prompts the officer to look twice. He notices the trailer plates are expired. During the stop, he runs the lumber lot numbers. Every plank traces back to a job site reported burglarized that morning. 84. Because she knows the PIN. A 70-year-old drains her hospitalized sister's bank account over 3 weeks. The bank flags unusual activity. When investigators check the ATM footage, every withdrawal shows the same woman standing on her tiptoes to reach the screen, wearing the same turquoise jacket, at the same branch, at the same time, every day. 85. In a gated retirement community, a former real estate agent sells timeshare upgrades to his neighbors, upgrades that do not exist. He collects over $20,000 before one buyer calls the timeshare company to confirm. The company has never heard of the upgrade program. The company has also never heard of the agent. He is arrested at the community pool. 86. At a pawn shop, a 74-year-old tries to sell a stolen Rolex. The pawnbroker asks for ID. The man provides it. The pawnbroker photographs the watch, the ID, and the serial number, then enters it into a law enforcement database. The watch was reported stolen 6 hours earlier by the man's own son-in-law, who had filed the report by name. 87. Every month, a retired school bus driver submits fake mileage reimbursement forms to her former employer. She has been doing it for 3 years. The forms are caught when a new auditor notices that the mileage claimed would require driving 1,100 miles a day. The bus route was 7 miles long. 88. In a quiet suburb, a 73-year-old sells fake warranties door-to-door targeting other seniors. He wears a lanyard and carries a clipboard. He is caught because he sells a fake warranty to an off-duty consumer protection investigator, who lets him finish the entire pitch signs nothing and hands him a business card. 89. At a community theater, a retired stage manager embezzles ticket revenue by selling seats for cash and pocketing the difference. She keeps a dual ledger, one for the board, one for herself. She is caught when she accidentally presents the wrong ledger at a board meeting. The room goes silent. She tries to take it back. The board president has already started reading. 90. Because he thinks paper trails are old-fashioned and irrelevant. A 71-year-old runs an unlicensed contracting operation, collecting deposits and never starting the work. He is caught when 6 customers file complaints in the same month, all with the same handwritten receipt, the same misspelling of deposit as depost, and the same phone number, his home phone. What started as small-time fumbles now looks like a pattern older than the internet and more stubborn than the people running it. The final stretch is where the overconfidence peaks and the collapses become impossible to look away from. 91 nurse at a flea market in West Virginia. A grandmother sells homemade fireworks from the trunk of her car. She has no permit. She has no insurance. She does have a lit cigarette dangling from her lip. A passing fire marshal sees the setup and does not even need to ask questions. The trunk is open. The fuses are visible. 92. In a retirement home lobby, a 76-year-old hacks the vending machines using a filed-down quarter on a string. He pulls it out after the snack drops. He does this daily. He is caught because the vending company installs a transparent panel on the coin mechanism and a maintenance worker watches the entire performance through the plastic. Oh, Chanowiers, Astirin Sanseri. 93. At a swap meet, a retired jeweler sells fake gold chains that pass the visual test. His downfall is chemistry. A buyer brings a testing kit to the table and drops acid on a chain in front of him. The chain turns green. The buyer holds it up for the crowd. The jeweler packs up mid-sentence. 94. Because she has always been trusted. A 70-year-old church bookkeeper diverts tithes into a personal account for 4 years. She is caught during an external audit triggered by the church applying for a building loan. The auditor finds a second bank account open under the church's name, routing to an address that matches the bookkeeper's home. 95. 2 grandfathers in their early 70s counterfeit $20 bills on a home printer. The bills are decent from a distance. Up close, Andrew Jackson's face looks slightly melted. The first bill is rejected at a gas station. The second is rejected at a grocery store. The third is accepted at a fast food drive-thru and then rejected by the manager 5 minutes later. The serial number on all 3 is identical on 96. In a doctor's office, a 69-year-old files insurance claims for appointments that never happened. She lists fake symptoms, fake treatments, and fake diagnoses. She is caught when the insurer cross-references her claims with the doctor's own records. The doctor has no file for her. The doctor has never heard of her. She has never been a patient. 97? At an estate sale, a 75-year-old switches appraisal tags on valuable antiques, buying a $2,000 vase for $40. The estate manager notices because the vase is the centerpiece of the sale. It is in the listing photos, the promotional flyer in the email blast. Everyone who walked in that morning saw the real price. 98. Because he watched one documentary about offshore banking. A 72-year-old opens a fake offshore account and starts laundering money from a rental property scheme. The offshore bank is a website he built himself on a free hosting platform. It has a stock photo of a tropical island as the homepage. The domain is registered under his AOL email address. 99. In a hospital pharmacy, a retired pharmacist uses old credentials to access the dispensing system and redirects controlled substances to a PO box. She is caught when the system logs show her log in a credential that was supposed to be deactivated 3 years earlier. IT never removed it, but they did keep logging it. 100. At a yard sale, a 74-year-old sells a stolen riding mower with the original owner's name still engraved on the side. The buyer sees the name. The buyer knows the name. The buyer is the original owner's brother. He calls his sibling from the yard sale. The seller is still making change when the police arrive. 101. In a courtroom in rural Missouri, a 78-year-old is sentenced for mail fraud. As the judge reads the verdict, the man reaches into his jacket pocket and pulls out a handful of stolen postage stamps. Not to use as evidence, not as a statement. He just forgot they were there. The bailiff takes them. The courtroom is silent. The judge pauses, removes his glasses, and moves on. Somewhere right now, a grandparent is writing a hold-up note on the back of their own prescription receipt, or listing stolen goods on a platform that requires a profile photo, or trusting that a hat and sunglasses can beat facial recognition software designed to identify astronauts in space helmets. The pattern is never the crime itself. The pattern is the absolute, unshakable belief that nobody is paying attention and that age is the world's greatest disguise. It is not. It never was. And the cameras have been rolling the whole time. If your grandparent ever said they will never catch me, go ahead and tell us what happened next, because odds are they were wrong.